Hello and welcome to the Crazy Crossovers Season 1 Director's Commentary, I guess. So this is just gonna be me rambling about the show and other stupid crap, so I hope you enjoy as you have to awkwardly hear me stutter and try to speak. Cause this is just my life, man. It's just so much easier when I can script content, but this is gonna be so weird, but here we go. This is what y'all have been wanting. Actually, have you been wanting it? Whatever, let's begin. Alright, so let's just explain the origin, the genesis of this epic tale I've been telling for a while. So, back in July of 2019, there was a trend, meme, plan, whatever, that people were going to go raid Area 51 because, you know, the classic urban legend is that Area 51 has aliens. And, you know, that eventually did happen, kind of. There's that Storm Area 51 event. And no one actually went inside the base. Obviously, people just partied outside and had a blast. And, you know, it was good fun. And I was like, oh yeah, what if I make a story about this? But if it was about the BFB and II characters raiding Area 51, because I've always had a big infatuation with crossovers, and BFB and II have had official crossovers from time to time, so I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this, because I think it'd be peak or whatever. And that's how the raid came to life, and I released it. So yeah, and that's how the first ever episode of Crazy Crossovers came to be. But little did I know that I wanted more. But let's explain the raid while we're at it. So the raid is, of course, the first ever episode of the show. Season 1, Episode 1. You could say it's the pilot, but it's not really a pilot to me. It's like the genuine, like, official premiere. And of course, unless you haven't been paying attention this whole time, you can already you already know what it's about. The BFB and II cast go raid Area 51, but, you know, it's an episode, you know. To be real, I do really like this episode. And it's not just because it was the first, and it was, of course, this set the bar for how crazy the crossovers were gonna get. At all, really. But, like, I won't defend how lacking and empty the episode feels. Like, there are barely any sound effects. There's like 2 songs that were used in the episode. Well, of course, the theme song, which is the IDFB intro. Not to mention the intro itself is a parody of the IDFB intro. And of course, I used this for the first 27 episodes. I brought it back a few times as cameos. But other than that, I used like a background track that was in SpongeBob, and that's really it. This it's so empty and quiet, and it's just not the best thing to start at, but you know, everyone has their start, and this was mine. Like, to be real, when I was first making this, I did think that, oh yeah, this is gonna be peak, it's gonna be amazing, and I'd say 17-minute for a premiere is pretty good. It comes off as like a special or whatever. Well, it's not a special to me, it's just a double length episode. But it really was a premiere after all, and it was pretty good. I would like to mention some things though. I did want to include more object shows in it. Like, I didn't want to just have BFB and II. Like, I actually wanted to have more object shows I liked, like Battle of the Objects, Battle for Luxurious Hotel. And I even wanted to include some Skylanders, because I thought it'd be goofy. And to believe it or not, this isn't the first time I wanted to make a show about crossovers. So before Crazy Crossovers came into being, I used to have this conceptualization of a show called Adventure Be So, and it was going to be about Rowdy. Like, he was going to be the main character, and he lived with all his friends. Like, he was friends with some BFB characters. I think he lived with II characters, I don't remember. But he also had, like, characters from other shows. like over the garden wall and peep at the big white worlds like his neighbors or roommates. I wanted to make that originally, but guess I didn't stop caring about that idea over time. And that's how Crazy Crossovers came into being. So there was, you know, a precursor, to be real with you. But yeah, I honestly wish I gave the raid a proper finale, like just an ending of just a fiery. It's not like to the F when I was like, what? Okay, I originally wanted to make it so they actually found humans inside the base, but I guess time constraints were getting heavy, and I just wanted the episode done, so I just end with Fiery and Corny just saying, oh yeah, we won, and that's it. Which is pretty anticlimactic, but come on, it cut me some slack. It was the first episode, man. Like, I don't think people should expect something good from the first episode. Well, actually, you should. But in my eyes, I don't usually expect the first episode to be the best because it is the start. But most of the time, the first episode of a show usually is pretty good, since it does set the tone, bar, everything. And I think The Raid was a good example of that. So next was the explanation, which was the second episode. So I decided to make an explanation trilogy, which was just an explanation on how the main three franchises at the time all got into the current world that they were in. So it started with the first one with the BFB characters, and yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I do like it, even though it did include a pretty rude joke about Americans that I'm definitely not fond of, and I definitely do not like looking back on. It's, of course, the only con I would give this episode, but besides that, I think it's a really good episode. And then, of course, we would have the second explanation, which you can guess would have the explanation for the II characters. And I really tried to include everybody in these episodes because this show is meant to feature literally almost every major character you can imagine from these franchises. Well, most of them. But for BFB and II, I really wanted to get the main cast in there, including some extras that people are likely fans of, but they don't get much attention in the show since they're like background or, you know, just minor characters. But yeah, the second explanation exists. I do think, looking back, why? Just, what am I supposed to say? Looking back, I'm proud of these episodes, oh my gosh. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode. It, of course, was your explanation. Yeah, there's not much to say. You should just go watch every episode of Season 1 after this, because I'll give you my verdict on it after. And then, of course, we have the third explanation for the Baldi characters. Yes, the original 3 franchises when this show came out that I included were BFB, II, and Baldi's Basics. I was a big fan of all 3 at the time, and 2019 was a pretty big year for Baldi since the Kickstarter demo launched, the game celebrated its first anniversary, which is all around just a great year for the series. And, yeah, so that's why it was the third, because I just was obsessed with Baldi. I've been a Baldi fan since almost the beginning. I've been there since, like, 2018, like, pretty early into the game's history. So, for this one, you know, it's, of course, the explanation for the Baldi characters. And this one's different, because the other 2, you know, were like an experiment gone wrong. But for this one, Filename 2 just teleports them out of their freaking world into the current dimension that they are in, which I just usually call the Omniverse, because I have no idea what to call it. Because like if I called it reality or the real world, that'd be pretty immersion breaking. It would just be kind of lame for a name. I love how it's the science fair in the show or in this episode, even though science is not actually a subject in the game, though it was planned at one point. And I love how Baldi mentions that he saw the dangerous teleporter on The Price is Right, even though I'm fairly confident that real life just doesn't exist in Baldi, it's a game, despite what Filename 2 claims. I think the reason why I said that is because there was this one video I saw a long time ago. I think it's deleted now, but it was basically a theory, like figuring out what state does Baldi take place in, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, I think it takes place in Arizona, since Arizona had a high corporal punishment, and also because of the fact that Arizona is a state that refers to, you know, a soft drink as soda, and that's how he figured out it takes place in Arizona."
Now it's time for everybody's favorite subject. Wow. Answer the three questions correctly, and you might get something special. Just write the correct answer onto the empty box. Problem 1.
I had that in my head when making that episode, I'm pretty sure, and just even interacting with Baldi in general, it's something I think about a lot, that one theory. Because I'll admit, that was a pretty good theory, I must say. But yeah, this is obviously kind of a different explanation episode, because, you know, the BFB and II ones only feature the characters from their universe, but this Baldi one features Rocky and Cloudy. And, you know, Baldi has a way smaller cast compared to those two shows, so I guess it makes sense. There's been a couple characters after that episode, but honestly, Baldi still has a small cast, because after all, it doesn't really need a big cast, you know? It's a school. It's a game, you know? You don't need to have a giant cast to have a great game. But yeah, we're getting off topic. That's just how the third explanation went. And yeah, it was a pretty interesting one. That concluded the explanation trilogy for, well, the explanations. I'm saying explanation a lot. It doesn't even sound like a word anymore. Oh my god. So beginning with episode 5, which is The Lion Sleeps Tonight, we're back to proper episodes. And this is obviously a music video of the song by The Tokens, which you might have seen in The Lion King as well. The origin for this was a video of the Lion Sleeps Tonight music video from a cartoon called Pat and Stan. It was a popular video in the 2000s. An edited version of it was uploaded in 2006, and it's very popular. It has over like 100 million views. And yeah, so this episode actually contained the debut of Rowdy, my channel mascot, and he's a recurring character throughout the show. We don't know the many OCs that I made just for TR-STAYM, which goes back to an old concept I had. So I also thought that maybe this show could actually be about my OCs. It's going to predominantly feature my OCs, but of course that didn't happen at all. There are many scrapped episodes that never came to fruition that I've tried to like recycle in other episodes. Like, for example, I wanted to make an episode. This had to do with season 2, by the way. I'm just going to mention this. One episode, it was going to be about, like, some of the ball characters, like baseball, basketball, tennis ball, actually being used for the sport they're from, and they're trying to escape those people. I think I recycled that in episode 39, the first segment for episode 39. Just wanted to mention that, because, like, I have tried to, like, recycle scrapped ideas before. But anywho, yeah, so this is, of course, a parody of that Pat and Stan music video. Instead of the hippo, it's Rowdy being the one that's being annoyed, and the one who's annoying him is Fiery Jr. All the BFB and II characters appear in it, because it's just a dancing chaos, you could say. But yeah, this is a kind of a fun episode. It exists, but I don't think people will remember it that much. But hey, it did introduce Rowdy, so it does have some bonus points. And then we have episode 6, which is Cake Napped, and I must say this has to be one of the edgiest episodes of the entire series. Season 1 in general is kind of edgy. Like, I don't know what I was thinking back then, but as you can guess, Cake gets, well, kidnapped. So Knife, of course, drowns Trophy, or tries to drown Trophy in episode 3, and he survives, and he tries to take his anger out by kidnapping Cake, and he holds him hostage. Like, what the actual hell is this, bro? Like, what was I thinking? Hey, we all gotta start from somewhere, right? Just why'd I even make this? It's just a pretty crazy episode. And then episode 7, which is Revenge, which is of course a music video of the song by Captain Sparkle, which is itself a parody of the Usher song DJ God's Falling in Love. It's a pretty good one. It's of course a music video which is, just a all-around object show version of that Revenge video where Woody is the main character. He has to defeat the creepers. It's just oh man. So yeah, of course, as many of you might know, Revenge became a meme back in 2019 when Minecraft was resurging in popularity, and this song blew up. I think it was already pretty popular, but it just gained a bunch of popularity again, surprisingly, and yeah, that's essentially how it went. But yeah, I guess it's a good episode, even though it is just a music video again. And yeah, you can tell season 1 had a lot of filler, but it was the start. Alright, episode 8, Cheesy the Comedian. I think many II fans know about Cheesy's development, how he became this jokester that made fun of everyone, and then learned how to have actual, good humor. And I thought, okay, let's actually expand beyond this, and let's make him a comedian. And, it's pretty cute, Microphone is his supporter, and, he becomes comedian, and he learns to accept criticism and stuff. It's a pretty good episode. But let's be real here, many episodes from season 1 are likely gonna come off as forgettable when there are so many better ones, but whatever the case is, I still think this was a pretty good one. Episode 9, Face Your Fears. So this was originally going to be another music video. It was going to be a music video for Build Our Machine, which was, a Benny and the Ink Machine song. I think it was inspired by this Epic Mickey, fan music video where it was, Build Our Machine, but with, Epic Mickey footage. And that's why in this episode, Woody defeats the Blot from Epic Mickey. He faces his fears. There was also going to be a music video about the hamster dance. There were so many, episodes that were planned, that just never happened, that were replaced with these other ones. And, one thing I love with this episode is a quote where Leafy says, "What a way to live life." But yeah, Woody faces his fears, saving everybody, and it's just a short but sweet and great episode. My boy gets time to shine. It's awesome. Episode 10, Zooming Through the Sky, Little Einsteins. I think y'all got that reference. This is a pretty crazy one. So in this one, Blocky gets on a flight. He meets Lai and Woody again. I think he's actually interacted with them before. Well, obviously Woody many times, but I think there's only one instance of him actually interacting with Lai. And since they are my 3 favorite BFB characters, I thought for this episode, why not make them all interact and shot on an airplane? And it's, this was well before post-split, so, takes place before post-split. Well, this is before, Blocky and Woody, squash the beef. This is where we saw Snowball's sort of antagonistic kind of role. He is way more evil and aggressive in this show than he is in BFB. In this show, I made Trophy an evil sack of crap. It's crazy. And I did a similar thing with Snowball, except he's just a jerk who isn't actually evil, but he does bad things. You can say he's sort of an anti-hero, where he's heroic, but he isn't actually a good person. And yeah, so he freaking overthrows the pilot, tries to fly the plane to get to the flight faster, and they crash into a jungle in Mexico. Woody dies in the plane crash, unfortunately, because, even though he was being guarded by Lai. Yeah, it's just a pretty crazy episode, to be honest, and Snowball goes to jail. I swear, these early episodes were something. So, one episode I don't look back on fondly, really, is Opposite Day, which is episode 11, and it's one of the shortest in the entire show. It's less than 30 minutes, and it's definitely one of the weaker episodes in season 1. one of the weakest episodes in general, since season 1 is not like, doesn't have like the best episodes, obviously. It's just Pen and Eraser being rude to people, like giving them fake compliments, and at the end they get karma by having a mob just attack them. And it's actually one of the most viewed episodes in the entire series, which surprises me because, like, oh my god, this episode is like so niche and just unimportant to me. So like, how did this get so many views? It's crazy. It's up there with like episode 1, episode 33, and 41 to have the most views. This one just surprisingly did super well, even though it's literally just a few minutes. Funnily enough, speaking of Opposite Day, that was meant to be a deleted scene in episode 6, where Loser tells Forn X that he lost Cake. X tells him not to frown or cry because it's Opposite Day, and then 4 gives him a zappy and tells him it's not Opposite Day. I actually released that scene on my YouTube channel a while ago, because that was meant to be in episode 6, but it just didn't make the cut. Episode 12. Since Halloween was coming up, I decided to do a sort of a Halloween themed episode to prepare for the season, and this is where we made Pumpkin Carving Class, episode 12. It's one focusing on Iance, where, they carve jack-o'-lanterns, and since Pencil has that match bias, she of course picks Match as the winner, and it's just, Bubble ain't having it, but Lightning comforts her, because, Lightning's such a great pal in this show for some reason. I'd argue this is like Pencil's, most evil appearance, maybe? I'm not sure, but, like, wow, is this even Pencil at all? Is this just some character assassination I'm doing? Or am I just over-exaggerating her rudeness a little too much? Alright, episode 13, thank God it's Friday. I actually have a reason as to why I made this episode. So, this one school I went to, a long time ago, this was so long ago now. They used to play the song Thank God It's Friday, which is like a disco song by the group called Love and Kisses. They'd play this every Friday before giving the announcements, and I really liked the song. I remember finding it on YouTube and just danced to it, and I honestly think it's an amazing song, to be honest. I gotta thank that old school I went to for introducing me to this song, and I therefore included it in this episode. In fact, it's named after that, That song also appeared in that one movie with the same name, featuring Donna Summer and all. But, yeah, it's just a classic, episode. It's just about Fiery just doing random things on Friday. He goes to McDaisy's, and, he just dances and does a little boogie. It's just a good old episode that's just meant to be silly fun. I guess you could say another inspiration I have would be a series on YouTube called Battle for BFDI Club by a YouTuber named Joseph Silly, and it's pretty cute. It's just the BFB characters hanging out, doing everyday things, and it's actually pretty wholesome and adorable. I would recommend it, and I consider that an inspiration of mine, to be technical here. So, like, yeah, and it's honestly just a great episode, even though it's mainly centered around this one disco song. But hey, I love me some disco. Episode 14, Food Stealer. Paintbrush tries to, eat pizza as like a early morning snack or breakfast, but a thief robs him in the middle of the night, and the thief's reported to be Ice Cube. I originally wanted to make it so the thief actually stole from a bunch of houses, but I guess due to the time constraints, I only wrote it so that only one house was seen being robbed. But I mean, it's a pretty sad episode, It's about how, Ice Cube, she's really poor. Well, no, she's not poor. Just due to things going on at her house, she just has to get food from other sources. This is one of the more iconic episodes of Season 1, in my opinion. I do like looking back at this one fondly, and I'd recommend it. One episode I really enjoyed, though, was Movie Magic, which is episode 15. Marshmallow makes a movie with a few of the II cast, and she makes like a really crappy movie that Paintbrush really enjoyed since Lightbulb was in it. And this is a pretty funny one. I featured some cameos from Universal, so yeah, this is a great one right here. Of course, it's about making a movie. Maybe I was inspired by that Goldfish Movie Maker app they had a few years ago. I don't know. What even are my inspirations at this point? Episode 16, the math test. It's another short and simple one. It's not one I look back on fondly since it's a pretty short one. Classic? What classic? These are all classics technically. What even is the word classic anymore? Like, what is going on? So, this just contains stolen frames from BFB 11. And, yeah, 4 just gives the extras a math test. I'm not sure what I was inspired by. I knew, so, I remember that there used to be lots of, like, exit comic dubs that, you know, that would make, you know, predictions on what was behind that one door and a bunch of lore and stuff. Like, it was some pretty cool stuff, I'm gonna admit. And, I think before this, I wanted to make a video that was gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you what's behind the door. But just in case in the future, if they actually reveal it canonically, I would just have to retcon that, and that would be a whole mess. So instead, I made a video where they just do a math test. It's simple, and yeah, you can also try to decode the message Robotti says at the end. So yeah, there's that. Then we get to Bo's funeral, which is the 17th episode of the show, and it's a pretty sad one, of course, because it's where the IACAS has a funeral for Bo, finally giving her an actual funeral. I guess not many people knew she was a ghost or whatever. I must have probably ignored something in the II lore because I'm fairly confident all the contestants know Bo. Well, they knew Bo, but like, I don't know, they knew her as a ghost. Like, just, I don't know, this probably comes off as inaccurate, but either way, it's of course a pretty sad episode. And at the end, I include a montage of like a lot of her moments in the show, and actual II with the "I've Been Delayed" song by Tassel and Fowls, one of my favorite bands of all time. And yeah, this is one I actually really like because this one felt like it had like actual effort put into it, even if it's just a montage. But yeah, this is honestly one of the actually, it is probably the saddest episode of the whole show. I would say that. Like, I don't even like referencing it often because of its nature. So, yeah, that's all I can say for this one. Moving on to a more happier episode, we have episode 18, Happy Birthday Bubble. And it is, in fact, the shortest episode of the entire show. It's not even 2 minutes. Bubble just has her birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and that's literally the whole thing. She gets an Xbox for her birthday. That's it. Literally, that's it. And moving on to episode 19, Trick or Treat, the first Halloween special of this show. And I'll say, we started off strong. I made Halloween costumes for all the characters, and they turned out kind of well. So in this episode, Evil Leafy, you know, makes her proper return, or debut, you could say, or whatever. I don't even know, where she is, in fact, the main antagonist. A bunch of characters go missing and even killed, and they team up with Microphone to take down Evil Leafy. It's a pretty fun and cool special. This is definitely one I really like, and I would highly recommend this one if you are interested in seeing all the Halloween specials, or just rewatching episodes in general. I would absolutely come back to this one, but it is a Halloween special, so its replayability depends on how much you're willing to watch a video out of season. And finally, we have episode 20, Macintosh Plus, which is just a music video that is complete filler. And this episode sucks. It is definitely the weakest episode of this entire show. And I'm fairly confident, unless I just make something even more deplorable, this will always be at the bottom. Though it's still like a D tier episode anyway. I love how I called it Macintosh Plush, even though that's not even the name of the song. The name of the song is like Lisa Frank 420. Macintosh Plus is just an alias that the artist went under at the time. I think their name is like Vectroid now or something. But yeah, this is a pretty iconic song. It's a meme song, of course. But yeah, it just exists, And of course, if people forget this episode exists, I'm not gonna mind, because it really is just a forgettable mess, to be honest. It's just honestly more of an animation test, to be real. Like what, it exists, just why would you ever want to watch this? Just I don't get it. Just, it exists. And well, that was season 1 of Crazy Crossovers. My opinion, as I promised, and of course, as show creator, this is gonna be very disagreeable. I of course think season 1 was a great season. It is a great start to the show. We really kicked things off with this series, or this season. 20 episodes for you to enjoy, or maybe 19 or 18 or 17, I don't even know. But this was a fantastic start, in my opinion. Even with its cons, even with its rough moments, I still think this was a good start. And after season 2 is over, I'm going to do a season 2 commentary as well, and give you more insights. But yeah, season 1 was an incredible start. And if you haven't watched the show yet, what are you doing? Go out there and watch it. I'm counting on you. Then again, you don't have to listen to me.